Have you ever wondered why some people seem to rise above the crowd, not just in wealth, but in influence, respect, and impact? What separates those who merely survive from those who thrive? It's not luck, and it's not chance. It's personal excellence. Before we dive deeper, if you're passionate about personal growth, wealth creation, and mastering the game of life, make sure you subscribe and join this journey. Because what we're about to uncover isn't just about making money, it's about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts success.
1. The pursuit of excellence. Jim Rohn once said that your level of success will rarely exceed your level of personal development. This truth echoes across centuries of philosophy, from Aristotle's belief in arete, the pursuit of virtue and excellence, to the modern emphasis on continuous growth. Excellence is not something you stumble upon, it's a deliberate pursuit, a lifestyle, and a discipline. It means raising your standards, not just in one area, but in how you think, act, and live. A person who chooses excellence in thought naturally seeks clarity, discipline, and depth. A person who chooses excellence in action takes pride in their craft, however small or great the task may be. Excellence is about bringing your full attention to the present moment, not cutting corners, and never settling for good enough. It is the quiet inner voice that says, I can do better, I will do better, and I refuse to accept mediocrity from myself. Too often, people chase wealth without realizing that wealth is attracted, not pursued. You can run after money and find it slipping through your hands, but when you commit yourself to excellence, money and opportunity come seeking you out. Excellence turns you into a magnet for possibilities, because the world is always searching for people who stand above the crowd. Imagine two craftspeople, one who rushes their work to make a quick sale, and one who pours their heart into creating something remarkable. Over time, the second becomes the standard bearer, attracting loyal customers, referrals, and respect. Excellence sharpens your skills, builds your confidence, and transforms you into someone the world cannot ignore. It is not about perfection, but about consistency in the pursuit of improvement. Each day you sharpen your edge, you not only prepare for tomorrow's challenges, but also set yourself apart in ways that compound over time.
2. Value creation in the marketplace. In today's world, money flows toward value. This has always been true, though the forms of value change with time. The farmer once created value by producing food for the community. Today, the software engineer creates value by solving problems with code. The marketplace doesn't pay you for time, it pays you for the value you bring. And the higher the value, the greater the reward. This is why two people can work the same hours, yet one earns 10 times what the other does. It is not about fairness, it is about the principle that results are rewarded, not hours. The person who brings unique solutions, insights, and skills to the table will always be more highly compensated than the one who merely clocks in and out. To thrive in the marketplace, one must constantly ask, what value do I bring and how can I multiply it? If you want to earn more, you must become more. Instead of asking, why don't I get paid enough, ask, how can I create more value? The first question breeds resentment and stagnation. The second sparks creativity and growth. When you solve bigger problems, when you make a difference that truly matters, the marketplace will reward you accordingly. Think of innovators like Elon Musk, who created value by tackling problems of transportation, energy, and space exploration. Or think more modestly, the teacher who goes beyond the textbook, inspiring students to believe in themselves, creates a ripple effect of value that cannot be measured. Money is simply a shadow of value. It follows, never leads. If you dedicate yourself to becoming valuable, not just in technical skill, but in creativity, leadership, and empathy, the rewards, financial and otherwise, will inevitably follow. 3. Becoming indispensable. Think about this. Who gets remembered? Who gets promoted? Who becomes irreplaceable? It's not the person who simply shows up, it's the one who goes beyond what's expected. In every workplace, there are those who quietly fade into the background. And then there are those whose presence is unmistakable because they elevate everything around them. Indispensability is not about job titles or authority, it's about impact. It's the difference between someone who does what is required and someone who anticipates what is needed. The indispensable person is not only reliable, but also proactive. They don't wait for instructions, they create solutions. They don't settle for the minimum, they deliver excellence even when no one is watching. This kind of person becomes etched into the memory of colleagues, leaders, and clients alike. Excellence is about making yourself indispensable. It's about being the person others rely on because your work, your attitude, and your results speak louder than words. When you rise above mediocrity, you stand out, not by shouting for attention, but by letting your actions speak with quiet authority. Consider the difference between an employee who merely finishes a task and one who improves the process so that everyone benefits. The latter is not just fulfilling a role, they are shaping the future of the organization. Indispensability is built on character, consistency, and contribution. And when you stand out in this way, doors of opportunity open that would have otherwise remained shut. Promotions, partnerships, recognition, and influence flow naturally toward the person who has proven that they are not just part of the system, but a vital force within it. In a world where many settle for average, becoming indispensable is the surest path to extraordinary.
4. Financial rewards of mastery. Excellence always leads to mastery, and mastery brings financial freedom. Think about any top performer in any field, athletes, entrepreneurs, artists. Their wealth didn't come by accident. It came through discipline, consistency, and the pursuit of mastery. The footballer who earns millions did not simply appear on the field one day with natural talent. Behind the scenes are years of practice, countless early mornings, painful sacrifices, and a relentless drive to improve. The entrepreneur who builds an empire did not stumble upon success by luck. Behind their achievements lies a daily grind of learning, adapting, innovating, and failing forward. Even the artist who creates masterpieces that collectors pay fortunes for has spent decades honing their skills, refining techniques, and wrestling with self-doubt. In every case, the visible reward, the wealth, the fame, the freedom, is only the fruit of unseen discipline, invisible persistence, and mastery built over time. That is why true financial prosperity is not a quick win. It is the inevitable byproduct of excellence pursued over years. Jim Rohn taught that success is something you attract by the person you become. The world doesn't pay you for the hours you work, it pays you for the value you create. And value is a direct result of mastery. A person who masters their craft naturally becomes scarce, rare, and highly in demand. The world always rewards rarity because rarity is power. When you refine your skills until they are uncommon, when you develop knowledge so precise and execution so consistent that others cannot easily replicate it, you set yourself apart in a way that guarantees financial returns. And notice this, money in this case is not the ultimate goal, it is the side effect. Money becomes a byproduct of your excellence, not the primary pursuit. When you focus only on money, you may chase short-term wins that fade quickly. But when you focus on mastery, money is drawn to you like iron filings to a magnet. The Stoics would remind us that we cannot control external wealth directly, but we can always control the cultivation of our inner resources, our skills, our virtues. And it is precisely this cultivation that makes financial wealth almost inevitable. Look around you at the marketplace of the modern world. Those who command the highest incomes are not necessarily the ones who work the hardest physically, but the ones who have invested in themselves the most. A surgeon earns more than a general practitioner, not because of luck, but because years of specialized training and disciplined learning have made their mastery rarer. A top attorney charges higher fees not merely because of hours, but because of accumulated wisdom, reputation, and sharpened ability. A skilled craftsman, an innovative designer, a visionary leader, each of them reaps rewards not because they sought money directly, but because they mastered their discipline to such an extent that the world values them beyond measure. And this truth cuts across every field of human endeavor. Mastery commands wealth. Excellence creates leverage. Discipline compounds into financial freedom. The rewards of mastery are never immediate, but they are always exponential.
5. Excellence as a way of life. Here's the ultimate truth. Excellence isn't something you switch on at work and forget at home. It's a way of life. It's how you treat people, how you manage your time, how you speak, how you carry yourself. Excellence is not a coat you wear only when the spotlight is on. It is the fabric of your daily existence. A person who cuts corners in private cannot magically deliver greatness in public. A person who is careless with their words, sloppy with their habits, and inconsistent in their commitments will eventually betray mediocrity no matter how hard they try to hide it. Excellence begins in the smallest details. Being punctual, keeping promises, practicing honesty when no one is watching, and putting in the extra effort when it would be easier to settle for less. It is a standard you hold yourself to, not because others demand it, but because you have chosen to live with dignity and integrity. And over time, that standard shapes your destiny. When you live with excellence, you set a higher standard in everything you do. You no longer compete with others, you compete with yourself, striving each day to be better than yesterday. That shift is transformative. Instead of wasting energy comparing your progress to others, you pour your effort into personal growth, daily improvement, and a private dialogue of self-mastery. Excellence as a way of life is a commitment to constant refinement. You speak a little more thoughtfully today than you did yesterday. You handle adversity with more composure this week than you did last week. You approach challenges with deeper wisdom this year than you did last year. This pursuit of self-betterment becomes your compass, and over time it builds both fulfillment and wealth. Wealth in this context is not only measured in money, it is measured in peace of mind, strength of character, respect from others, and the freedom that comes from knowing you have given your best. A Stoic would remind us that external results are never fully under our control, but excellence as a personal discipline always is. You cannot guarantee the success of every venture, but you can guarantee that you showed up with excellence. You cannot force the world to recognize your worth today, but you can ensure that you live in a manner worthy of recognition. Excellence as a way of life transforms you into the kind of person others naturally trust, admire, and follow. It makes you magnetic. Not because you chase attention, but because people instinctively sense that you operate at a higher frequency. And in a world where mediocrity is the default, the individual who consistently lives with excellence becomes unforgettable. That is why excellence is not simply a tool for work, it is the architecture of a meaningful life. When every word, every action, and every choice reflects excellence, you no longer live as just another participant in the world. You live as an example, a standard, and ultimately a legacy. So the question is, will you settle for mediocrity or will you rise into excellence? Jim Rohn's wisdom reminds us that wealth is not something you chase, it's something you attract through the person you become. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe, because this journey is about building not just financial wealth, but a life of purpose, power, and personal greatness. Remember, excellence is not a destination, it's a way of life.